Hi, Michelle. Thanks for waiting. It looks like you have some kind of bitless bridle, and I'll get to that in a minute, but the easiest thing would be if we can change that. If we can put your horse in like a loose ring snaffle, or if you don't want to do that, if we can change to either a different bitless bridle or to a hackamore, I think we'll have more success. Your horse does have some talent. It's just not totally understanding, and we need to bend it and get a little bit more supple. So let me start with the beginning. So body position wise, you look good. Shoulder over your hips. Your heels are pretty much under your hips. You can move the leg back just a little bit further. Eyes are up. That's always good in the video. And it looks like you're pretty well balanced. She gets her head very low at times and gets very strung out. And you might be compensating by lifting those hands higher because they get pretty high when you're riding. But you're trying to get a line coming up and going to your elbow. So this arm right now is okay. The other one is a little bit too high. As you start out, you're trying to start out with just their flat walk, which is just a fast walk. And that's the speed of your flat walk there. The problem is she's too strung out. Just to show you, this is a Rocky Mountain horse doing a flat walk. So that's what you're aiming. So we're trying to get the horse rounder and a rounder frame, which will help separate the legs more and help her to engage that hind quarter underneath you. So it'll help her to carry you. But right now she's pretty strung out. So what I'd like to see is her not getting her head way down here, to be a little framed up to start. And then once she gets the gaits and she's better balanced and can carry herself, then we can start to loosen up on the rein. But that's why a snaffle or the other things I mentioned would help more. It's difficult to do in some of these bitless bridles or side pulls unless you're really experienced and you can get the horse to give to the nose band on it, but she's really not giving. Most of the time, I'm going to turn the sound off, but most of the time she's strung out like this. So that was your flat walk, and then she went right past it. So that's another problem, is you want to keep that same speed all the way around. So I know you said you did the arena routine. What I would try to do is that arena routine to her flat walk. And then if you're gating afterwards, I would keep her in a big 20-meter circle. And it helps for me to see better also, because when you got far away, it got pretty blurry. Stay in that big 20-meter circle. The bend, using that inside rein and leg to bend her, make a little arc in her body, will also help separate those legs. And then just try with your upper body just to stay neutral, because as she speeds up some of the time, you're falling a little bit forward. So you can see she's step pacing. That's why you see that little soft bounce in there. And so to get her out of that step pace, the first thing to do would be to get a good flat walk first, and to make sure she can do that for long periods of time. And so at least 5 minutes each direction, but because of what she's doing and how pacey she is, I would say to flat walk 10 minutes each direction and get that really good. And maybe not even try for your next gait until we get her flat walk better. So see how her neck is very straight here and her nose is poked out? I would like to see a little curve in her neck, your hands level, and then I would like to see your nose just a little bit more on the vertical here like this, okay? That's gonna collect her some by you holding her together more, which will help to engage that back end, and it will help to separate the legs in time. But she is constantly changing speeds. And if she doesn't listen to your leg, like if she goes too slow and then too fast, then it's good to carry a dressage whip in your hand like that and just wave it when she's not listening. And then if she's still not listening, you can give light taps with her. But it looks like you're trying to get her to go, and then she goes right past her saddle gate and goes up into a step pace. So again, the first thing I would do is get that flat walk and do the whole arena routine at the flat walk in a better frame with her head as I kind of pointed out. And then make lots of circles and leg yields. If you know how to do shoulder ins, I would do that because that'll help separate her legs. And just do that for a couple weeks and get those legs separated. So now she's done. This is your trail walk right here. So you'll see that's a slower speed. Now you're starting to speed up a little bit, but you went right past her flat walk and you went right past her saddle gate up into that step pace. Some of the time she hits a hard pace, but it's not that bad. It's more step pacing. But keep those hands level. And again, if we can change that bridle and get just a snaffle bit in her mouth would make a huge difference. It looks like she travels straight pretty well, but there you sped her up and she went right back up into that step pace. And see, here is where it's getting blurry on the video, so it's hard to see. So this is past the speed of her gait at this point in time. So once we get the flat walk, then we need to speed her up into her saddle gait. But you need to speed her up just a little, get the footfall, and then not go past that speed. But every time, because I already watched the video once all the way through, every time you went up, she went past that speed. And it's okay if you're giving her cookies, but I would ask for more. I would get more out of her before giving her one of those treats. Because you only got like one step of apostle saddle gait, and I think she can do much more. She's not going to work harder unless she's motivated to work harder. Again, you're just trail walking, which is fine, but she's very strung out. So for the videos, it's fine if you walk around like this and you're warming up or cooling out. But when you're working on gait, it's very hard to get them to gait well like this because they're not going to engage on their back end. They're not going to get their weight back here. All their weight is going to be on her front end. And if they happen to trip or something, it's much easier for them to fall over. You can't really ride them like quarter horses because they don't gait so well that way. There's an occasional gaited horse that will, but most of them don't. We usually have to engage them, frame them up a little bit, get them a rounder frame, and then ask for the speed. So lots of flat walking, lots of walking over poles. And then also look at your arena. Anywhere it goes down, like it looks like it's going downhill there, you don't want to speed up there because it makes the horse pacey. Anyone uphill where we'll kind of square them up and make them go more towards the trot, but she actually will probably not fall into a trot. That was better with her head. I'm going to go back a little bit. So not there, but right there at least is better. I'd still like her nose in a little bit more than that and a little bit more arch in her neck. It's going to be better for her body in the long time that she gets some muscle in her neck because now you can see it's very flat and she is starting to get a little muscle under her neck. We want the muscle on top of her neck, not under it. So again, carry dressage whip. Let's change the bridle. See if you can put a snaffle in there and teach her to give to the bit. That was better with her head position. And get her a little bit rounder. Make lots of circles with her, but make sure she's bending. When you're making small circles, like I would make 10-meter circles, like you hear me talk about the beginning of my arena routine, really get her to give. Look at some of the other lessons I've given to people. But we really want them to arc through their body. I have you squeeze and relax on the inside rein as you're bending her, but dig with your leg at the same exact time that you're squeezing and relaxing on that rein. And then use your outside rein to regulate her speed, but also support her. And then your outside leg right behind the girth, just lightly pressing to catch her in case she drifted. But all that suppling work really makes a difference. It's good that you've done all this trail walking, but now you want to get her up into the gate, so you're going to have to ask her for more. There, the arms are getting a little bit high. She's kind of getting lower and lower, but your hands are staying up there. Some horses, just the way they're built or the way they go with a little lower headset, but you can teach them to carry it a little bit higher. Like even this is a little bit better. Even though she's pacey, when it's low, she's too much on her front end. And there you'll see you're bouncing, so that's your step pace. And I'll slow some of that down so you can see it. So she does have the talent. It's there. It's just getting it out of her. And that, again, is your flat walk right here. But she was too strung out, and then she goes right back up into a step pace. So you want to work a lot at speed control, keeping the same speed, and really getting that flat walk set. Once you get it set, then we'll be able to speed her up, and only just a little bit, and we should be able to get her into the saddle gait. But we might need to do that over the circle of poles you always see me setting up in my videos, because that will help you and make it easier for you. But there, the hands are way too high. And again, it's probably because you're trying to lift her up. If you're trying to get her head up, it's much easier just to kind of jerk your hand up towards the sky. And when you have a bit in their mouth, it kind of helps you to get that up. It's much harder with the nose band or a hackamore, because when you lift up on them, it puts more pressure on their nose and their head. So a lot of times it won't come back up. So the headset's better there because she's not so strung out, but you're going too fast. You've gone past the gait. So the step pace is after the saddle gait. So you need to slow it down just a little bit and then help her to separate those legs. I skipped ahead because a lot of the stuff's the same, but here you're much closer to the camera, so I can see you much better. And again, if you stay in a circle around the camera, if this is a pivot, it will track you better. You might have to change some things on it if you want to use the whole arena or talk to the pivot people to ask them. If somebody's videotaping you, then they just need to zoom in. So again, this is fine for just walking around, but when you start to gait, you want to shorten those reins up, frame her up, and then get that flat walk, working lots of circles and serpentines and over poles. And again, I would do that anywhere from a couple of weeks to even a month if you could, or longer. Just work on that flat walk and really get it set. And then when you're starting to speed her up, you're going to have to half halt on the reins and use a little less leg so she doesn't jump past her gates, because that's what she's doing. She's jumping right past the saddle gate, and you might get 1 or 2 steps, and then she goes right into that step pace. So using the stick will help, and then as you lightly push her forward, be ready to squeeze and relax on the reins. You want to squeeze and relax on the rein, but again, when you have a bit in their mouth, that's why so many people use a bit, it makes it so much easier. She'll get it quicker, and then in time you can go back to this once she understands. But I think this is making it harder for her to understand. So you want a straight line going from your elbow down to her nose, or hopefully you'll switch to a bit, and that'll make it easier for you. So there, the hands are a little bit too high, okay? So we want a straight line, your body position's okay. It's then asking her for a little bit more speed with the leg, waving the stick if she doesn't get it, and then as she goes to speed up, being ready to half halt with your reins. When the reins are long, it takes longer for them to get the communication, especially with equipment like this. It'll take longer to get there, so it's making it harder on both of you to communicate together. So shorten the reins up like 4 more inches, and be ready to squeeze and relax on that rein as you're adding your leg, kind of at the same time, so she doesn't get too much speed. And then if you get a step or two, she's still step pacing there. That was a little bit better there. So now she's back to a slower trail walk. So I'm just pointing these things out so you know when she's flat walking and you know when she's doing her saddle. So again, a lot of the video you're just trail walking or slow walking. So I don't want you to think that is her flat walk. And again, she's strung out most of the time. Like there, when you sped up, you really had long reins, so you had no contact. So she really didn't know how fast to go. So she just jumped forward and went really fast. And then she got you back up into the pace. So she's not really understanding what's going on. Again, I think she has a lot of talent. And again, you might be getting a step here or there of the saddle gait. It's just not very good. So it's only like a step or two, and then you start bouncing. So again, we really just want to clean these things up, and it'll make it much easier for you. And as you're doing it, if you're unsure, you can just send me a short clip and I'll tell you yes or no. And I won't do a voiceover. I'll just give you some guidance on it. But I think she's a very nice horse. She's just confused. She's not engaging enough. She's not framed up enough. She's mostly strung out. And I think if we change some of the equipment, that'll make a huge difference. This was one of the last ones. And right there, you were good. You're still good. And then you went past it. But again, I think if you frame her up, you're going to get a lot more steps of good versus her going into that step pace, because the frame's not helping her. And then she starts going too fast, swings those legs together, and that's how she gets up into a step pace. So we want to keep all those legs independent, get her in the rounder frame, work her in circles and over a pole. Right now, not have a loose rein because she doesn't know how fast to go. I'm going to stop it. With many of these horses, because they're confused, or, you know, they weren't started well, or maybe they were started well and we might have taken the training off of them, we want to make things as clear as we can to them. And that's the hard part. So the more we work her in a frame and get her head set a little bit nicer, then over time you'll be able to loosen the rein. But doing it now just adds to the confusion, because when she speeds up, there's no contact, so she doesn't know to slow down. She doesn't know that's not what you want. So again, we're going to take a little bit more hold of her with those reins and try to keep her in a better frame. Get that footfall, carry a dressage whip, that'll help a lot. Give her some things to walk over like the poles, and do those suppling exercises. And I think she could be much better. Okay, I'll send you some other attached videos that might help guide you. And if you're unaware of the suppling exercises, just let me know. I have those written out, and I also have videos on that, so I can send that to you as well.